Step right up, folks. Yes, step right up. It's the same old game with a brand new name. It's Follow the Money. It's so easy. Just ante up and watch your money multiply. What about you there, fella?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You look like a fine, upstanding citizen.
What you got there, mister?
The Alberta dream. Here for the taking, my friend. Now we're talking, folks. Just play along. After all, we're all in this together. Just step right up and follow the money.
We all hear Alberta's rich, right? You have that sense. There's a lot of oil here. There's a lot of money here. We're told over and over how, Alberta's have province and so on. But if there's that much money, how come the talk always is about cutbacks? If we're spending so darn much on healthcare, where are the doctors? Where are the hospitals? Where are the long-term care facilities? But what's the reality? How rich really are we here in Alberta? Well, for every man, woman, and child in Alberta, there are 51,900 barrels of oil in reserve. At $100 a barrel, that's over $5 million. We are living in the richest jurisdiction on the planet. How often does it feel like that? When you walk around the streets of Edmonton, when you drive those potholed roads, when you see the teachers getting laid off, when your relatives wait in the emergency room, does it feel that rich? That's the rest of Canada's spending on social services through the last 20 years, per capita adjusted for inflation. Here is Alberta's. Okay, this is spending on the most vulnerable members of our society. This is income support. This is spending on seniors, on people with disabilities. Ralph Klein cut spending on social services by 50% in 1 year, and Alberta has never recovered. Now this is the big one coming up, healthcare. And I need you to understand that those years, 94, 95, 96, that cut, that's 20%. In real terms, that's a 20% cut. That is 10 or 12,000 health professionals losing their jobs. That's the Calgary General Hospital getting blown up. So if we don't put enough money into housing, what happens? Those people end up on the street. Somebody calls who? The police. It spills over into our justice system. Or they call an ambulance and it spills over into the emergency rooms. If we don't spend enough on social services, people grow up, they drop out of school, they have more health problems, all kinds of other issues. That's the sum total of what your provincial government has spent over the last 20 years on all human services. It's hardly skyrocketing, is it? It's hardly out of control. If we follow the money, well, where else could it be going? Corporate taxes and profits. Again, straight out of Statistics Canada. We divided it through, adjusted for inflation and population growth. The first line is corporate taxes. Very low. You're told all the time that taxes are rising, we can't afford taxes. It's not supported by the data. These are corporate profits. To put this in a different way, in 1989, corporate profits in Alberta were about equal in total to what the provincial government spent on healthcare. 20 years later, they equaled everything the government spent plus 70%. Now, in the heartland of capitalism, the US of A, in a good year, corporate profits will count for 11, maybe 12% of the total economy. In Alberta, they're running nearly double that. Over 20 years, corporate profits rose 354%. Follow the money, and you know where it's going. So I think it's time for a new debate in this province, as do many others. We've been asking some of the wrong questions. We've been asking, well, why is spending on healthcare out of control? How can we control spending on schools? How can we do this and that? We're asking the wrong questions. The debate has to be, where is our wealth going? Who's really benefiting? Why is there this huge disconnect in Alberta's politics and Alberta's economy?
thank you. Thanks for playing, you all. You'll be sure to come back again now, you hear? I win. I always do. And don't forget to follow the money right here to my pocket.
Yeah, but you said...
Get down in there, you. I know what I said, but hey, you pays your money, you takes your chances, son. Just follow the money, and then give it all to me, so I can buy me some new boots, pay off my yacht, get me a new oil company.
Those resources are owned by the people of Alberta. They're not owned by the energy companies. While I think that most Albertans would agree that we want to make sure that these energy companies make a fair profit, I think most people would also agree that as the owners of the resource, we don't want to be fleeced.
What we have is resources, and they're here for those resources. So it's not low taxes that are attracting business here or keeping it here. It's oil. And because 96% of the world's oil has been nationalized, there isn't anywhere else for them to go. If we raise royalties and taxes on those resources, they are not going to flee because there is nowhere else for them to go.
You can pay lip service on an emergency basis when education is $100 million short, or we're missing 20,000 beds from our system. But if you don't have a structure in place to collect the funds that are needed to sustain that over a longer period of time in perpetuity, then you're still not doing your job.
The economy is growing, our population is growing, we're having inflation each year, and if we start cutting, then we're going to be paying for it in many other areas. There's a whole other conversation that has to happen and a whole other vision of what it is that we want to build in Alberta.